Trustee Tammy Brown?
Aye.
Trustee House? Aye. Trustee Belcher?
Aye.
The motion passed to appoint Trustee House as Mayor Pro Tem.
Thank you very much, Clerk, and welcome again to all that are present with us. We will begin with the Pledge of Allegiance, so I'll ask all that we stand and face the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. If I may ask former Trustee Valeria Stubbs to lead us in prayer. If you have a prayer for us, I'll see if we get a microphone. Or does she have a mic? Run the microphone over. They got one for her. I give her a mic.
Thank you. Good evening, everybody. Can I have everybody to stand and bow their heads? Heavenly Father, I come to you in the name of Jesus just to praise your name another day and thank you for your mercy and grace that you have stored upon us. I ask in the name of Jesus that you put your loving arms around this village. Guide us all in the direction that you want us to go and not in the direction that we want to go. I want to also, Father, ask you to put your loving arms around the 4 trustees and the clerk and the attorneys that sit up here today and the residents of this village. Father, and protect them as they go on their day-by-day journey. Give them traveling mercy and grace, and let this meeting be productive and go smooth as possible according to your will. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Thank you very much for that prayer. So I'm going to lead off general announcements. A few things that I want to recognize before yielding to my colleagues on the board. First, I want to thank Dalton Park District for their continued partnership and willingness to work with the Board of Trustees. Without that partnership, it would not have allowed us to have meetings in this fashion and convene. So I really want to give special thanks to Commissioner Gail Towers, Commissioner Kyle Rochelle, Commissioner Willis Harris, Commissioner Sandra Wells, being bashful in the back over there, as well as the board president, Cleo Jones. We really want to give thanks and acknowledgement for this great space. Secondarily, this meeting was called. I want to make sure that we document it was properly called. Meeting notice was posted Monday evening, approximately 8:30 in the evening, giving more than the 48-hour required notification. Further, the meeting notification was sent via email to all members of the board, the mayor, all 6 trustees, as well as village administrator and the attorneys that represent both the mayor's office as well as legislative council. So all are invited. We want to make sure that we conduct meetings in the proper manner, and I want to make sure that we have that listed on record. I will yield to any trustees. I'll ask if I can get the liberty of last comment on general comments, because I do have one point I want to make, but I want to yield to any of my colleagues on the board if they have comments at this time.
I have an announcement. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for attending this evening's board meeting. Just want to announce Saturday, this coming Saturday. Oh, I'm sorry. It's in March. I apologize. It is March where we have tea with the trustees. It's every second Saturday. March the 9th, 9:30 a.m., right in this building here, 14700 Evers, the Lester Long Fieldhouse. It gives the residents a chance to tell us what you would like to see in the village. It's not a one-way street. This is a two-way street where we listen and take in what the residents would like to see happen in the village. So all are invited. We hope everyone can attend. And again, thank you for coming out this evening.
Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. Just announcement, and I am so glad today that Attorney Bert Oldison, Attorney Mike McGrath, and Attorney Brazier has greeted us with their presence, because a lot of times you keep hearing it's a secret squirrel meeting, and we get an agenda that say it's a secret squirrel meeting. But we just want everyone to know that the four of us plus the clerks, we are doing what is legal, what is right by the community, and we will continue to fight for you guys. So when we sit here, it's a lot of, a lot of us, we get support from you guys, but there are some that don't support us. But we want to let everybody know, and I'm saying this from me, that we thank you for all the prayers, for all of the emails that come through, but we are going to continue to work and do what's best for the village of Dalton.
Thank you, Mayor. Hello, everyone. Happy Thursday. I would like to make an announcement for all the seniors. Our Cook County, our Thornton Township Assessor, Cassandra Elston, and our Illinois State Representative, Thaddeus Jones, is hosting a free income tax return service for seniors. So for any senior who have not completed their taxes as of yet, this is totally free if you're 65 years of age or older. Total household income of $65,000 or less. You must have a photo ID, and you must reside in the 29th Legislative District or Thornton Township. But this event will be held at 1463 Ring Road in Calumet City, Illinois, from February the 19th to April the 14th. So for any seniors, please come out and join them so you can get that service free of charge. I also want to make a comment in regards to our village. This is no ordinary meeting, right? We normally have special meetings, but this meeting is different. This meeting is an attempt for this legislative board to save Dalton. That's our goal right now. If you haven't registered to vote, please do this upcoming election. We love our town. A lot of us have been here forever. We don't want to leave. This is about transparency. This is not a dictatorship. This is a democracy, and this is why we are here tonight. So I want to thank all the residents for your love, support, kind words, and just know that no matter how tough things seem to get, at least we have each other, and we're going to continue to show up and do the job that you all elected us to do, no matter what, and we thank you.
Thank you very much, Trustee. So I want to briefly, on my comments, take a moment to clear up misinformation. And generally, I try not to address misinformation or things like that. However, I'm appreciative of the residents of the community that give phone calls and messages. So after the last board meeting, I'll get some calls that say, oh, thank you, how are you doing? Is everything okay? Because the last meeting was really, really tough. And I'm thinking they're talking about the meeting, and they say, oh, you know, getting picked up over at U.S. Bank. I say, what are you talking about? And then further, I think there was a further story, and there's a ton of misinformation. I really do not try to feed into it, but I want to just make sure that I clearly state for the record, I've never been picked up. I've never been arrested or walked out by anybody. And my short response to some of those residents was, there's one person on the board who has a mugshot, and we know who that person is. But I say that not to be divisive in nature or anything else like that, because those are harsh. I say that because the overall attempt is that as we get closer to it, we try to talk about issues and focus on the issues. And then as we get closer, the smear campaign begins. So I want to make sure that I just state for the record as we get into this meeting that none of that has never happened. And I'm pleased to report, my laptop is right here. So now that we've kind of cleared that up and hopefully lightened the mood a little bit, grateful really for everybody being present. I will say that so next up on our, well, there were some other comments made about every meeting we come in and we talk about legislative council and that council needs to be terminated for the various reasons, and it repeatedly goes on. At many meetings, we do not request legislative council to be present. The reason for that being that there is a cost. We're mindful and recognize that there's a cost. So the best use of the time or tax dollars as we're going to try to spend it, we don't feel is to have somebody sitting present at a meeting. However, we've gotten many, many questions and many calls about what's legal, how is this going on, what other things can we do? So this evening, the Board of Trustees has asked that our legislative attorney show up, and they have graciously and willingly come to join us. I want to give a special thanks and acknowledgement to Attorney Burt Olderson, Attorney Frazier, Attorney McGrath, and I'm also going to yield the floor to them for a moment just for comments from them, from the legal community.
Thank you, Trustee House. So my name is Burt Odelson. Sitting to my left is Felicia Frazier. Sitting to her left is Mike McGrath. We are the three managing partners of our law firm, a 21-member law firm, 50 people employed at our firm. We all don't go to meetings together ever because we have a lot of meetings that we have to cover and don't burden or encumber a municipality with three of us going. Tonight, we're doing the same thing. We are not charging for our appearances here tonight because we shouldn't be here. If the village was operating in the fashion that every other municipality operates, we wouldn't be here. But some things have to be said tonight, and some things have to be done tonight. And it is very meritorious and heroic that this board has now stepped forward to do what has to be done to straighten this village out. So the number one thing I have to say is the mayor has railed on me personally, and I've only watched the last one, but I guess she does this every meeting, about me bringing chaos to the municipalities that we serve. I have been a lawyer for 51 years. I was 5 years old when I got my degree. We represent 26 municipalities as the village attorney or legislative counsel, and another 30 municipalities, school districts, townships, park districts as special counsel or general counsel. We don't bring chaos, we bring competent legal counsel. Ms. Henyard talked about the village of Robbins and how I brought chaos to Robbins. I started with Dr. Irene Brody in 1982 when she was elected mayor of the village of Robbins, one of the most magnificent females I have ever met. I served with Dr. Brody until the day she retired, over 30 years, many years working pro bono for Robbins because Robbins couldn't pay us. They have another mayor now who chose to do something different, and that was his prerogative. But please don't tell me about Robbins that I vested a good part of my life in with Dr. Brody. She talked about Sauk Village, and we brought chaos to Sauk Village. We have been the village attorneys or legislative counsel for over 15 years in Sauk Village. Mike McGrath serves as legislative counsel there. Even though the mayor and the trustees don't get along real well, we still do business. We still have meetings. We still put things on the agenda. Even though there's not political harmony, there is at least legislative harmony, and we are the legislative council and get along very well there. She talked about the village of Maywood and how I got fired from Maywood. I did. I served there 3 months until the young mayor was arrested on the middle of the Eisenhower Expressway in a Maywood Tahoe. Does Tahoe sound familiar in this room? Asleep in the village car, asleep and drunk, and given a DUI. Well, yeah, I was fired by that mayor. That is absolutely correct. And fourthly, she said I brought chaos to University Park. Well, you can ask the mayor and all 6 trustees who don't get along what chaos I've brought to University Park. They wanted to come tonight, write a letter, and tell the fine people of Dalton what our firm has done to stabilize the legal practice and really help the village with their water problems in just winning a case in the Circuit Court of Will County on behalf of the people of University Park. She lied, and I wish she was here so I can tell her to her face that she lied and continues to lie about so many things in this municipality. But lying is not the worst thing that she does. We're going to go through things. Mayor Pro Tem House is going to take the board through a number of items tonight which will expose further what she has done to this municipality. So again, I could go on, but we all want to go home and have dinner and get to the real business of the night, which is the serious business that's not just your business, but has now become and is going to become the business of elected officials in the state of Illinois who can do something to help the people of Dalton. Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you very much, Attorney. With that being said, we'll go to our next item on the agenda, which is the Village Clerk's Report. I yield to Clerk Key.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. I'm requesting the board's approval on minutes that I originally submitted on the February 5th board meeting, but I was not allowed to get approval of these minutes, so I'm asking the board to approve them now. So let me just list out the minutes that I'm requesting approval. Special board meeting of the trustees, Monday, September the 25th, 2023. Regular board meeting of the trustees, Monday, December the 4th, 2023. Special board meetings of the Board of Trustees, Tuesday, December the 5th, 2023. Regular board meeting of the trustees, Tuesday, January the 2nd, 2024. And special board meeting of the trustees, Wednesday, January the 24th, 2024. And if you guys can approve the minutes that I have sent to you prior, I appreciate it.
I make a motion to approve the said minutes.
Second. So hearing the motion and second, any discussion? Hearing none, Clerk Key, please call the roll.
Trustee Norwood? Aye. Trustee Tammy Brown?
Aye.
Trustee House?
Aye.
Trustee Belcher?
Aye.
Motion passed to finally pass the minutes. Thank you very much.
Mayor, may I
Yes, Attorney.
just to explain to the audience and to the people of Dalton, the reason that the minutes have to be approved at a special meeting is Ms. Henyard will not allow the minutes to be put on the agenda because she doesn't want to keep track of what the board is doing for the people of Dalton. Minutes are supposed to come up at the next board meeting or two board meetings, and it's an embarrassment to go back to September of 2023 to approve minutes of what happened in September of 2023. Again, the trustees have to use this vehicle of a special meeting to do ordinary village business. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Attorney. We have no old business listed on this agenda. First order of business on our new business. First is transferring all current litigation files from the Delgado Law Group to Odelson, Murphy, Frazier, and McGrath. I'll tell you why I put this on the agenda. This was placed because at the present time, our village does not have a village attorney assigned to it. The attorney that was previously assigned resigned because they were unable to work with the mayor and this administration. After that time, we've gone with no appointed or nominated attorney of record, and a lot of the files have been given to the Delgado Law Group without board approval. So as the board, and we want to make, additionally, we're not getting up-to-date information on these cases, and once we have to ultimately vote to settle, not settle, and as a board, we need to be informed on what's going on so that we know potential of losses and the direction that we're going with that case. So with having legislative counsel with no attorney being appointed presently at this time, we are requesting that all files be transferred from Delgado Law Group to the attorney's office that will communicate with us. So I make a motion at this time that we transfer all files from Delgado to Odelson, Murphy, Frazier, McGrath. You're gonna ask for a second.
Second.
Okay, hearing a motion and second, and I'll ask for discussion.
I'd like to speak for discussion if possible.
Okay, Trustee Belcher.
A lot of stuff that we probably are not going to be able to discuss because we either have to normally go in executive session. But the issue is, and I'll say from me, is that some of these cases that come about, we don't know about them until they're halfway finished or somebody has cut somebody a deal, and then we're brought into executive session to make some type of formal decision on it. With having corporate counsel that works for the benefit of everyone should be transparent enough to, when these cases are filed, that we should get a copy of it or know about it, and then when we need to make executive decisions, we will be informed of what we're doing. There are several cases that have slid through the cracks, and since we didn't know about it, we wound up being in default, and now we're gonna have to pay out money. So this is not about saying that we just wanna hire someone that represents us. We want someone that's gonna be transparent, that we know that we can minimize the cost of the backs of the residents.
Thank you, trustee. I'm going to yield to Attorney Alderson as well.
Mayor House, we have a list of the cases. There's at least 33 pending cases against the village, and I think another one was just recently filed. I don't think there's this many cases in all of our municipalities combined, and it is taking the money that should be used for the people and paying lawyers and paying plaintiffs, because Dalton isn't getting the representation that it should. That's why we have to take these cases, get them in order, and win them. We will not take any cases that conflict with us. In other words, there's a case where we sued the municipality after the board told us to sue the municipality because Ms. Henyard would not sign our checks, the checks that the board authorized for legal work that we did. So we, of course, can't take that case because we're suing, and we're only suing because we would like to get paid from over 2 years ago. We haven't been paid in 2 years, over 2 years.
And I thank you for bringing that point up. Actually, I am going to ask you if you can share with the residents the status of your payments, as well as, so I'll wait for attorney. You good? So I'm going to ask if you'll share with the residents the status of your payments, and it's been described to the community that you've charged us anywhere from $1 to $2 million in billing. So I want to add that. I want to just ask for your status on that, just for clarification.
Well, if Ms. Henyard made that representation, that is another misrepresentation and not true. Of course they're not that. It's ridiculous to even come up with a number like that. We're not handling any of these cases, and we haven't been paid. Ironically, we were paid for a while, and then when the referendum was put on the ballot and the people voted to recall Ms. Henyard, she stopped paying us. Now, the courts, for whatever the court's reason, said that it wasn't a valid question, which we disagree with, but the people spoke, wanted her recalled, and then she caused retribution to our firm by not paying our authorized bills that the board approved. That's where it's at.
Thank you very much. I'll yield to Trustee Brown.
Okay. Maybe you can also shed some clarity. Every month, we hear the same thing about you, that you are our legislative counsel, and you have not won a case for the Village of Dalton. So maybe you can shed some light on that as well.
So let me just go back. John Murphy, the other partner in the firm, he was the village attorney under Mayor Riley for many, many, many years. And of course, he was dismissed by Ms. Henyard, and we have won, our firm has won many, many cases for the Village of Dalton and stopped these excessive legal fees and excessive payouts to plaintiffs. You have one case pending against you now for $33 million. And that law firm has now gone to court and has filed a very, very interesting pleading outlining what the mayor has done with the money in this town rather than pay the judgment. And that's being litigated right now. So, again, falsehoods.
Thank you
you.
very much. Okay. So with that being, did we do a motion in a second already? Okay, so that being the case, I will ask, we'll close discussion at this time, and I'll ask Clerk Key for a roll call, please.
Trustee Norwood.
Aye.
Trustee Tammy Brown.
Aye.
Trustee Jason House. Aye. Trustee Belcher.
Aye.
Motion passed.
Next on the agenda, I will read into record as it is on the agenda. Item number 2, refer the Delgado Law Group to the appropriate agency for inappropriate conflict of interest. The Delgado Law Group has been the village prosecutor for over 2 years. During this time, that law group has has filed appearances on multiple state and federal lawsuits against the village, Mayor Henyard, the Board of Trustees, and the village corporate authorities, and continues to defend these matters. Within the last year, the Delgado Law Group has filed appearances and prosecuted or defended matters in opposition of the corporate authorities, specifically the majority of the Board of Trustees. The Delgado Law Group has billed the village tens of thousands of dollars for this legal work in opposition of the corporate authorities. This is a direct conflict of interest and shall be referred to the ARDC requesting an investigation into this conflict of interest. So I request that this be placed on the agenda specifically because the attorneys should be working in conjunction and for the village. In this case, the board majority has made our votes very clear, and yet cases continue, which cost this village money, and we feel this is, I feel this is conflict of interest, so I'll again motion that we move forward with requesting legislative council to file this conflict of interest. So that's my motion.
Second.
Okay, hearing a motion and second, open for discussion.
I have a question. So, in reference to the ARDC, which many people may not know, is filing a complaint against the attorney. Will this be taken care of prior to the next meeting, or how does that work?
Yeah, my request would be that it be done yesterday, but I'll yield to attorney.
Yes, this will be done immediately tomorrow. And if I could just clarify one other thing, as lawyers, when we're appointed by the body, the trustees, we then work for the municipality. We don't work for the trustees, we don't work for the mayor, we work for the people, because we're the people's lawyer. That's the village attorneys. So when the Delgado Law Group was appointed village prosecutor, that is the office that prosecutes traffic tickets. Traffic goes to traffic court. They're not the village attorneys. They should not be sitting next to the mayor at village board meetings. That's not their place. That's not our place. We're the legislative council right now. We represent the board, but we represent the board for the interest of the people. Just so you know, you can't represent the mayor against the board when you represent the municipality.
Thank you very much for that word of clarity. Any additional comments at this time? Hearing none, I'll ask Clerk Key for a roll call.
Trustee Norwood.
Aye.
Trustee Tammy Brown.
Aye.
Trustee House. Trustee Belcher.
Aye.
Motion passed.
Okay, next on the agenda, item number 3, motion to approve the following invoices from Legislative Council, Odelson, Stirk, Murphy, Frazier, McGrath, for invoices from 2022. These are invoice numbers 33340, 33631, 33632, 33857, 33858, for a total cost, hold your breath, $66,999.76. as well as invoices number 34252, 34254, 34379, 34380 for a total of $56,688. These invoices were previously approved by the board at the June 6, 2022 and August 1st, 2022 and were not paid by Mayor Henyard. There are currently pending matters in court, OSMFM versus Henyard, case number 2022-CH10511, wherein OSMFM are seeking to be paid the invoices that were approved by the Board of Trustees. The Delgado Law Group has billed the village on this matter tens of thousands of dollars just to defend this case. There's no justification to bill the village for these corporate authorities items that have been approved. Now, the reason that this is placed on the agenda, as mentioned in here, this has already been approved by the board. It's actually pending in court, and the defense given is that when the board approved it, we did not provide the specificity to which invoices were approved. So this is just clearing up a matter that has already been voted to make sure that the court is crystal clear on the board's intention. Having said that, I'll make the motion for approval on this, and I'll ask for a second.
Second.
Okay. Hearing the motion and the second, almost thought I didn't get a second. Hearing the motion and the second, I'll ask any discussion. Hearing no discussion, Clerk Key, I'll ask roll call.
I'm sorry. We always hear that if they did the work, pay them. Well, the attorney has done just that. He has done the work for the village, so let's pay him. Hey, you got that bag? Show us you got that bag. Pay the attorney.
Trustee Norwood?
Aye.
Trustee Tammy Brown?
Aye.
Trustee House? Aye. Trustee Belcher?
Aye.
Motion passed.
Next item on the agenda is a directive for the village administrator to be directed to provide an access key to Village Hall for each sworn trustee and the village clerk. This item placed on there, as grateful and as gracious as we are for the Park District and their partnership, the Board of Trustees and more importantly, I always say, the residents of this community deserve the access to Village Hall for meetings that are being held. So with that, I'll make the motion. I'll ask for a second. Then I have a question I'm gonna yield to our attorneys on in terms of enforcement, because we know the vote is one thing and enforcement is the second part. So after we get the motion second, I'm gonna ask Attorney Odelson to kind of outline next steps on this one. So I'll make a motion.
Second.
Hearing the motion and second, we're in discussion. I'll first ask Attorney Odelson on next steps on this one, because the common practice has been the board votes and then the enforcement part gets into court, which takes a delayed time frame.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem House. So some of the folks here will remember then the mayor locking the board out of the Village Hall and the board having to set up a table and lawn chairs to have their meeting. You know where that happens? Nowhere, except here. That just doesn't happen. The trustees are elected by the people, and they need access to the municipal hall as the village board does. So the board has not been given access since that time. So that's why this action has to be taken. The village administrator works for the mayor and the board together, and the village administrator has to follow the direction of the board, and if he does not, he is subject to discipline by the board, suspension or termination. He must obey, as long as it's legal, the direction of the board. There are so many actions that we could run into court and litigate, but every time we do that, even if we're not billing you, Mr. Delgado's firm is. So there's no need to usurp any more money out of this municipality for lawyers, to be quite frank with you. Whether this works or not, we'll see, but I think the next item on the agenda may hopefully take care of all of this.
Thank you. Any further discussion?
So I'm not sold. And this is, when we sit up here, these are ordinances, meaning that they are laws that we put into effect. And these laws are obviously being violated on a day-to-day basis. So making this ordinance or is it a resolution for getting the key, and neither the mayor will instruct the village administrator to do it, I'm asking that at this point, we have authority to change the locks and bill them like everybody else do. I'm asking the question, but I'm very serious. I'm not joking because we are here, and these residents, I'm so glad that you guys have come out, but this has been a stain on our community. There is no way that we should have to continue to come to the park, and then she don't even want to give the park permits. So it's no way that we should be locked out of a place where we pay taxes, a place that we're allowing the village administrator to come in our town and our township and destroy everything that's going on. So I'm just saying, and hey, I don't know how far it would go, but on the warrant list, I've seen Goldilocks on there 1,000 different times, as many times as they keep changing locks. We need to call them to make sure that everybody has a key fob by the end of next week.
Received, was that, look, were you seeking a response, or
Yes.
attorney?
So I, with all due respect, I wouldn't suggest changing the locks at this time. I'd give it a bit, again, because that will create more time, more money, more controversy, another lawsuit. And even though she is withholding the trustees and the people from the People's House of Government, which they pay for, I would ask that you hold on that until we work through this agenda and we have an opportunity to turn this over to other authorities.
It's extremely saddening that time and time again, I mean, we, as the attorney stated, we were locked out of the building once before, and we did have to hold our meeting in the parking lot. But we also had another time where we entered the building and the mayor had the entire administration come and tell us that the lights were off. So they first told us that the lights were off. We had Trustee Belcher, she had to call ComEd while we were in the building to ask ComEd if the lights were off, and we found out that they weren't. Then they tried to say that it was carbon monoxide or something, so they called the fire department to come into the building. So these are the things that they do to prevent us from moving forward. We've all heard them being called secret squirrel meetings, right? But it's not a secret. We're trying to have access to the building that belongs to the residents. So that's why we are here. And when I say that we are here to save Dalton, that's what I mean. We are here to save Dalton, to be able to have access to the building that, as Trustee Belcher stated, we pay taxes for. There's no way we should be here. So as a board, we're hoping that they provide us access with this ordinance put in place, but I know that we'll probably be here again next month, but we would like you all to know that we are continuously making an effort, and this is our attempt to fight for what's right. So that's what we'll continue to do. Thanks again, residents, and I hope if we have to continue to be here, we'll continue to see you every time. Thank you.
One last thing. It's so funny and childish. Our mailboxes are outside. Our mailboxes were placed outside to prevent us from going into Village Hall. Each and every time we go into Village Hall, you see everybody picking up their phone. They're calling, they're here, they're here, they're here. It's a shame that you can't even go into Village Hall to ask a question about insurance or possible a permit or anything. Every time you go in there, all eyes on us. We're outside today. We went today to renew our insurance. Cars circling the building while we're standing there. It's a shame an elected official is treated like an outlaw. So something definitely has to change, and it has to change immediately. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Trustee Brown. Having discussion, we'll close discussion at this time. I'll yield for Clerk Keith to do the roll call, please.
Okay, Trustee Norwood.
Aye.
Trustee Tammy Brown.
Aye.
Trustee House? Trustee Belcher?
Aye.
Motion passed to provide keys to the Board of Trustees and the clerk.
Thank you very much. Item number 5 on the agenda, item is a instruction for the village administrator and/or finance director are ordered to tender all payments made by the village for any reason, including Las Vegas junkets, the mayor's Tahoe car payments, security detail from June of 2021 to present. Said record shall be tendered within 14 days. Records of all expenditures January 1st, 23 through today must be tendered within the next 7 days by the village administrator. Failure to turn over the requested village financial record shall result in immediate suspension or termination of the village administrator. All requested documents/records shall be recorded and turned over to the Board of Trustees, specifically Senior Trustee House. This was listed on here. We've come to many meetings and we say we're not getting the information. And further, we encourage that the information be placed on the website, because there's no better transparent way to do it. For the purpose of this, we have to specify where we want it to be done, so that way it can be tracked. But I'll take it and we'll put it on the website. The important thing is that right now, financially, we know one thing: the finances aren't good. But specifically where we're at, we're still left in the dark trying to figure out where the finances are for the village. This information is critical to the village for the residents to understand where we're at, and further to make sure that once we have the information, we can begin to create a plan on how we move forward. The last financial reporting that we received is September of 2023. On that report, it showed that there are $2.5 million worth of checks that have been issued, approved by the board, and have not made it to vendors, just sitting on desk somewhere. That's completely unacceptable from my perspective, and I know the board will share that sentiment. So I'm making a motion that we move forward on this. I'll ask for a second and open for discussion.
Second.
Okay, Trustee Brown, second. I'll yield to discussion. Anybody? Hearing no discussion on that, clerk, can you please roll call?
Trustee Norwood?
Aye.
Trustee Tammy Brown?
Aye.
Trustee House?
Aye.
Trustee Belcher?
Aye.
Motion passed to order the village administrator and finance director to turn over all financial records to Trustee House.
Okay, I think Attorney Olson, you have a comment?
Yeah, just one follow-up on that. I don't know if the folks in Dalton follow all the TV that's gone on in the last couple of weeks about the squad cars and public works vehicles that were on the verge of being repossessed because of a $76,000 payment that was not made, even though this board authorized the payment in May of 2023. But you need to know that the mayor's Tahoe security detail car payments were made every single month. So you, and I was on TV saying this, it is a deadly sin to think that you could have lost 6 of your police vehicles, and when you lose the vehicles, you lose the police officers too. But she chose to keep her payments on her security detail intact. I think that's important for information.
Thank you very much. That's very critical information, and there will be some follow-up on that point. I do want to pause for a moment, make a brief acknowledgement, because I see one of our board commissioners. I'll tell you how much I appreciate the park board, so I want to make sure as I see them, I acknowledge. We have Commissioner Willis Harris in the back. Commissioner, please. Thank you again for your continued partnership. I did not acknowledge the executive director, Stephanie Wiederman, as the executive director around. Okay. Just want to give acknowledgement, and if you don't mind, come up towards, not for speaking, just come. I have a question I want to ask you in a brief moment, but please come forward. We'll transition from here to item number 6. All monetary payments by the Delgado Law Group shall continue as the Delgado Law Group will continue as village prosecutor, but no other legal matters. I think we discussed that a little bit too, and at the beginning. Steph, I'm sorry, you might come around here for a minute. So I think that point has been kind of hammered home, but I want to make the motion on this and ask for a second.
Second.
Okay, hearing a motion and a second, any discussion?
Yes.
Trustee Belcher?
I always play devil's advocate. I guess my question would be in reference to discussion. We know that this administration is not fond of following the rules. So I just want to make sure that and you have the list of the 33 pending litigation, that how do we enforce that you guys get that information so that the village won't be in default? And the reason I'm saying that is because we're going to hear the narrative at the next meeting that the trustees did something and, oh my God, they did this and now that we in default and we didn't go to court for this or that. So I just want to make sure and bring it to a front before it even comes, because they're starting to be predictable now, the things that go on. How do we make sure that as the law firm, those pending cases, that you guys get the information that you need? Because obviously in the world, they're not providing any information that we won't be in default of any cases that's pending.
Trustee, that's an excellent question, and the people deserve to hear an equally excellent answer. And the answer is we have a list of all the cases. We have access to the court files, and after tonight, we will contact Mr. Delgado's law group and say, turn over the files so we can proceed to defend the people of Dalton. If not, then we will go to court and tell the judge of your actions tonight, and the judge will then take action and turn the files over. We will not let any cases go to default as they have in the past, and where judgments have been entered against the village. That is not what we do. That is not what we've ever done. And you can ask any of our mayors or boards, and they will tell you that. So we will take note of all these cases and make sure they're in good standing.
Thank you.
Thank you. Excellent question. Thank you very much for that, Trustee Belcher. Any additional discussion at this time? Hearing none, I'll ask Clerk Key for a roll call.
Trustee Norwood?
Aye.
Trustee Tammy Brown?
Aye.
Trustee House?
Aye.
Trustee Belcher?
Aye.
Motion passed for all monetary payments made to the Delgado Law Group shall continue as village prosecutor, but not for any other legal matters.
Okay. Item 7 on the agenda, discussion and approval of an intergovernmental agreement between the Dalton Park District and the Village Park, between the Dalton Park District and Corporate Authority for the Village of Dalton. I'm excited personally about this. So I'm going to make the motion, ask for a second, then we'll go into discussion. So I motion.
Second.
Okay, hearing a motion and second. Items have been held up from the Park District, and I think this really kind of furthers some of the partnership activities that we talk about, and the way that that Dalton will be successful, as I know we will be going forward, is going to be due to partnerships not only with the Park District but other legislative bodies within our community. So I'm going to ask our executive director please to come forward, kind of express some of the experiences that you've had and challenges with the Village of Dalton in terms of receiving permits and other activities, items that the Park District and the community is missing because of that, and then we'll let our attorneys kind of further the conversation.
Thank you, trustees. I appreciate you guys doing what you can to help out the park. We really appreciate it. And just to give the residents kind of a better understanding of what the park is experiencing, we have been, since I started here in this position, May will be 1 year. We have been working on several projects to beautify our parks. We have 11 parks in Dalton. We have projects getting ready to start at 5 of them. The one that is most urgent is at Blackstone Park, where we are putting in a new trail, a pavilion, a new playground. So of course permitting comes in when we have to dig and do
I'm
these.
asking we switch the microphone. Okay. This one's hooked to.
Okay. There are certain things that we need permitting for. So the digging, the trails, those things, we need permits from the village for the contractors to come in and do the work. So in this process, we have gone back and forth with the village. The village engineers, our engineers have all approved the project. We have a permit with Water Rec that we need signed, by the mayor, and the mayor is refusing to sign it. We have tried everything to try and work with the village to see what we could do to try to push this along, and short of them telling us that there really are no options, we just haven't gotten anywhere. So we really appreciate the board, being willing to work with us to try and push through this. This is your tax dollars. We want to be able to show you guys where your money is going. For the Park District specifically, we would see that in the parks. And not being able to make those improvements when we are servicing the same community is very discouraging. So again, thank you guys very much.
I just want to add to that the mayor refused to sign off on the agreed paperwork, putting the Park District at risk. If this paperwork is not approved and signed off, the Park District will lose approximately a $600,000 grant. $600,000. So, Mayor Pro Tem House, I'd just like you to ask to amend the motion to direct you as Mayor Pro Tem to sign the intergovernmental cooperation agreement between the Park District and the village.
Thank you for that further clarity. I do thank the attorneys for the work, and we have the attorney showing here. Also, the attorney for the Park District, Michelle, I'm going to say Fountain. I'll say Michelle Fountain. I want to think that this really is a collaborative effort. These are some of the activities that happen outside of the boardroom, and some of the efforts that collectively. So I made my statement of excitement, but I know the board also shares in that, because we really do enjoy working with the Park District. So thank you. So I want to amend the motion as stated by Attorney Odelson, and I'll ask that we get a second on the amended motion.
Second.
So hearing that motion and second, the amendment being that the documentation can be signed by the Mayor Pro Tem. I hate doing it because I feel self-serving on this one. Mayor Pro Tem, to get the process moving forward. So hearing that motion and seconded by Trustee Brown, any further discussion? Hearing none, I'll ask Clerk Key for a roll call.
Trustee Norwood.
Aye.
Trustee Tammy Brown.
Aye.
Trustee House.
Aye.
Trustee Belcher.
Aye.
Motion passed to amend the motion to have Trustee House sign the agreement.
Thank you for that. We are to the eighth and second to last point on this agenda. This is discussion and approval of a resolution 24-002 calling. Oh, I moved so quickly, I thought. Okay, so thank you, Clerk. That's why I want to get close to keep me corrected. So the motion that was just voted on was to amend my original motion. Now we need to take a vote on the actual intergovernmental agreement. So that being said, yeah, we have the motion and second. I'll ask again Clerk Key for a roll call on the actual agreement, intergovernmental agreement with Dalton Park District.
Trustee Norwood.
Aye.
Trustee Tammy Brown.
Aye.
Trustee House.
Aye.
Trustee Belcher.
Aye.
Motion passed to approve the intergovernmental agreement between the Dalton Park District and the Village of Dalton.
Okay. Item number 8, discussion and approval of a resolution 24-002 calling for an investigation of Mayor Tiffany Henyard. Wow. Yeah, I'm going to read it. I will read this in its entirety, and then the board, myself and other board members will have discussion on this point to further explain the reason for this, although it may be evident. So on this motion, whereas the Village of Dalton Board of Trustees have become aware of numerous improprieties concerning the mayor's use of village funds, village credit cards, employees, and resources. Whereas the village board has received evidence that Mayor Tiffany A. Henyard has misused village funds, village credit cards, has made payments to vendors that have been approved by the board, and has refused to issue the payment of those invoices to those vendors. Whereas she has used the stamp of the village clerk's name on payments without the village clerk's authorization, has issued checks without statutorily mandated countersignatures, and whereas the Village Board of Trustees have received evidence that Mayor Henyard has improperly appointed village employees without the board's advice and consent, has hired convicted felons, has used police personnel for her own personal security detail, which has cost hundreds of thousands of dollars of overtime, millions, within the police department, has taken lavish trips with village staff, and has caused the village to be in a multi-million-dollar deficit. And whereas the mayor has consistently spent village funds for services without going out for bid or requesting any RFPs for various services. For example, branch and tree services, home repairs, and other items not approved by the village board, such as an ice rink and holiday decorations, which were not contained in the amounts approved within the village's budget, or any appropriation ordinance in violation of state law. Whereas the mayor refuses to allow the Board of Trustees access to the village financial records, including bank statements, payroll records, credit card statements, or documents concerning the village's budget, tax revenue, and tax levy. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the mayor and the Board of Trustees of the Village of Dalton, Cook County, in exercise of our home rule authority, require as follows. Section 1, the foregoing recitals are incorporated herein as fully set forth. Section 2, the village clerk is hereby requested or directed to send a copy of the resolution to Cook County State's Attorney, the United States Attorney for the Northern District of Illinois, the Cook County Sheriff, and the Illinois State Board of Elections for investigation. Section 3 says, any policy or resolution of the Village of Dalton which conflicts with the provisions of this resolution shall be and hereby repealed for the extent of such conflict. Section 4 of this resolution shall take effect upon its passage and approval in the manner provided by law. That is the reading of this resolution. I will ask that we include Federal Bureau of Investigations in Section 2 as a governing body that we would ask this go to. So I'll motion that we approve Resolution 24-002 as read, and ask for a second.
Second.
Okay, being motion and second, I will yield for board comment.
Oh my God. I'm just overjoyed. But I will say this, instead of an investigation, the grown-up thing would be for her to resign. Just get out of here, leave town. But she's not going to do that. You have disgraced this entire village and also disrespected each and every one of us. So a grown-up would just resign and leave, but we know she's not going to do that. So definitely we're going to go to the next step further. But I thank God definitely for what's going to happen tonight. Oh my God, I can't.
It was the standing ovation for me. Okay, guys, I'm going to need you to be a little bit patient with me. I tried to summarize this ordinance, but I like to be politically correct. So we have an ordinance number 12-560, an ordinance of the Village of Dalton amending Title I Administration, Chapter 10, Municipal Finances, Section 4, Contracts and Purchases, Paragraph C, Contracts over $10,000 of the 1988 Municipal Code of the Village of Dalton. Section A, general contracts. The mayor or any other person designated by the Board of Trustees may sign on behalf of the village any contract authorized by the village board. No contract may be entered into without the authority of the village board. C, contracts over $10,000. All necessary supplies, materials, or equipment, or any work or other public improvement which is not to be paid for in whole or in part by special assessment or special taxation, when the expense thereof will exceed $10,000, should be let by contract to the lowest responsible bidder after advertising for bids in a publication of general distribution, printed or distributed in the village for proposals. I said all this to say, RFPs. So you all continuously hear me say for the last year or two, hey, bring the RFPs in front of us. It's extremely important. With RFPs, we'll know, because of course we're not disputing that there's not work to be done in the village. However, we are in a $7 million deficit, and we're there because these ordinances are not being followed. When we need work done, they should be presented by the board. It should be presented in front of the residents and in front of America. Everyone is entitled to know. Village of Dalton Ordinance number 17-014. All contracts with service providers in an amount greater than $1,500 should require prior approval of the Board of Trustees. This is extremely important. We continue to say, hey, we're not opposed to the work being done, but we have to get the best bang for our buck. We cannot just continue to pay people $10,000 for a $1,000 service. We don't know where the rest of the money is going. I'm gonna just say that. And it is our job to know. This is what you call checks and balances. I continue to say this is not a dictatorship, this is a democracy. As trustees and the Legislative Council, we are responsible for the finances. We are responsible for knowing where the money is going. So, again, we cannot survive like this with contracts continue to be entered without board approval. We have vendors calling us every day for non-payment. A lot of these vendors we don't even know are doing the work. That's a problem. So again, guys, we are here to save Dalton. We will not survive like this. Let's save Dalton. Thank you.
Thank you. Trustee Norwood, you have comments?
I just want to say this is just the beginning. And I say the beginning because this ordinance that we're about to pass is extremely important. It's important because we have thousands of other ordinances that's still not being followed. So when we take this stand, we're taking this stand on the backs of 21,000 people that are being affected by this. It's not to come into a board meeting and argue about what we're paying and who we're taking off. This is strictly about, like Trustee Norwood said, checks and balances. This is strictly about knowing what our tax dollars are paying for. This is strictly about the infrastructure. We had 2 major storms last year, and that money that we allocated through ARPA money went to an ice rink instead of the startup infrastructure that could happen. When we get these glorious statements to say, we got all this grant money and the bag is here and it's so empty, I don't know what to do, but we don't have any type of documentation of these grants. So we get these calls, and what really saddened me is we received an email today about the beautiful flashing stop signs that we see around town. $17,000 we owe for these stop signs. My concern is not even that we haven't paid them, but that money should come from asset forfeiture money. And if anybody knows what asset forfeiture money is, you don't play with the federal government's money. So it's a lot of, we know, documented misappropriation, and this is the four of us taking a stand for you guys. It's not about our personal agendas. This is about the village adult and taking a stance about what's being done correctly and right.
Okay, attorney, you have a comment?
There's a good reason why two trustees are not here tonight. And no one has spoken about them, and I'm not getting involved in politics in the village, but just to say, when this resolution gets filed and sent to the appropriate authorities, others will be looked at also. Let me just suffice it to say that. And one other thing, there are many things that have not surfaced and the public doesn't know yet. And if you think you're in shock now, just hold on. So I want to commend, since this is the last item, I want to commend the board. Well, they have to take the vote, but I want to commend the board for standing up and doing what's right for the village. We are here to help them. Our firm has a long history in Dalton, as we do in many of the surrounding communities where we cause no chaos. We just help the community. Thank you.
Thank you for those comments. And I do want to kind of just make sure it's known. I want to thank the residents here for the support, the many outcries. And I want to make sure that we really state that this was not a measure taken lightly. Many people that'll say, "What took you so long to go with this, that?" But as a board, we have our obligation that we want to try to work through things in the most peaceful manner possible. This is and was a last resort, and I think today we kind of figure this to be our last stand, because we cannot continue to stand for millions of dollars being wasted on trips and things that do not benefit the community. That's why we're here. So thank the residents, and we want you to know we did not take this stance lightly. This is something that has been thought through thoroughly, and this is the only effort that we feel we can take at this moment to move this village forward. So having said that, we have a motion and a second. We'll close discussion, and I'll ask Clerk Key for a roll.
Trustee Norwood?
Aye.
Trustee Tammy Brown?
Aye.
Trustee House?
Aye.
Trustee Belcher?
Aye.
Motion passed for resolution number 24-002, calling for investigation of Mayor Tiffany Henyard.
So I want to thank attorneys and all members. Now's the time for the most important component of this meeting, which is public comment. In a lot of meetings, we try to be liberal because we want to make sure that we know the board meetings get silence everybody. And we want to be very liberal to make sure that this is a platform where everybody has the opportunity to speak. I will ask that comments be kept to around the 3-minute mark. We'll wave my phone as we approach the 3-minute mark, and just ask that we as a community please be mindful. Those who have comment, we will ask to come. What's the best way to get them? Yeah, come down the middle aisle, and then we'll bring one by one to the podium.
Thank you so much. I think I can get it right here. Okay, thank you so much.
Okay. First up, Doctor. We'll let.
Thank you, Jason. And so I'm here as a resident. I'm very concerned about what's been going on, what has been going on. And so if anybody can refer back to YouTube to the May 28, 2013 meeting, you will know that Dalton was broke in May of 2013. It has not gotten better since. And something needs to be done. There needs to be an ordinance in place
so that no future mayor can spend as they want to. And that should have been done a long time ago because you guys had power of the board. Meeting minutes should be in within 10 days after the meeting. And so I don't feel safe as well with Murphy Odelson and your law firm. Excuse me, this is my comment. There was an attempt to remove Tiffany Henyard as trustee along with Brown and Hunt. And so you failed again this time to remove her as mayor. And none of that money can be repaid back to the people. Do you see what I'm saying? And so you also make comments that the attorney shouldn't be sitting next to the mayor. During Riley Rogers' regime, the attorney sat next to him the full time. I also want to know what's going to go on with the $4,060,000 grant that was taken out for the IEPA for water meters that residents never received. Yet, the ex-mayor was given a vote to have sole control over that money. And so things need to be in place, ordinances need to be followed, and I would also like to see a referendum on the ballot to end home rule in the village of Dalton. The village of Dalton no longer has 25,000 residents, but the 2020 census says that the village of Dalton has 21,000 residents. Therefore, the clerk should be submitting information to see if we still would like home rule, and there should be a referendum on our ballots to see if residents would like to remain with home rule in the village of Dalton. And so that's all I would like to say, besides the fact that I would like water integration removed. I'm tired of smelling feces every time I walk out of my door. They should have never had a Class 8 or a TIF to burn feces and flood our sewer system with 200,000 gallons of sewage and profit and not pay taxes. And that's all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Downs. I appreciate your comments. Documented a couple. I'll ask Dr. Scott, please come forward. There's a microphone up there.
Good evening, everyone, and thank you for this opportunity. This has been a long time coming. I am so proud of this board that sits here because I'm not a resident.
Quiet, please.
I am not a resident of Dalton. I live in South Holland, but my heart is for the community. I am Dr. Scott that purchased the building over on King Drive that has the free grocery store inside for the residents. And my goal was to expand services for the Southland, starting, of course, with Dalton, because that's where we're located. I tried to work with the current administration. It failed for whatever reason. And this has been a breath of fresh air, literally, because it was very frustrating to want to work and get things done for people who need services. Not all of you, no. Dalton is a thriving community. And to have businesses that want to come in, that want to bring that vitality back, where we can have programming and venue spaces and all of those things and services where we don't have to go to another community and to receive pushback. I'm not serving liquor. These were all services that would benefit. I thought it was a win-win situation. You know, the current mayor, you know, talks about, you know, Jesus Christ all the time. But even he had disciples. You can't do it all by yourself, and not to be able to partner or want to partner to do something great, to do something good. It bothers me when I hear, this is for you, residents. I'm doing this for you. Well, then why are you pushing me back when I'm trying to help as well? There was no coming together. There was no partnership. But now I can see with this board a way forward. And I'm like I said before, in that tea with the trustees, the line had been drawn, and I knew which side to stand on. And so I thank you. I love the community. My heart is for the community. I'm grateful that I have a husband that supports me, and I'm working for you. I'm working for you. No, I don't live in Dalton, but I'm working for the Southland, and we are located in Dalton, and that's what we plan to continue to do. Even though she has, you know, some ideas about taking the building, but God said no.
Thank you very much, Dr. Scott.
First of all, to give me the good chance to be talk in Dalton Village. I have not lived in this town, but I live in different town, but I have a business. I've been doing in business in almost 11 years since 2013 in Dalton. I have a 4 property and 4 different business. Hopefully everybody know about the Emporium Liquor. Is 127 East Sibley Boulevard with the shopping center. It was used to be mine, but before we have a new mayor, I sold out, thanks God, to give me that chance. Now the second one is my location is a Liquor City, 14922. Is used to be Chicago Road, now Martin Luther King Drive, which one is shut down. I applied for my license, been long time, I don't have no response. I'm trying to sell my property, no response. I cannot do even, I pay my property tax, I maintain my property good. I don't have no response to be exchanged my license so I can sell my property to someone. That's one I'm going through, been almost a year and a half. Now I have my last business left, which one is Rinky's Bar and Cafe, which one been establishment since 2015. So we literally getting like no reason, we don't have no violation. Each and every single neighborhood, they know that's one of the best bar since today to be a peaceful, anybody can come and enjoy them drinks. But now we have been facing the problem. They say you have so many phone calls. Somebody get killed inside or outside of the Rinky's property, which one is completely lie. We get harassing from the local police. Every time we have more than like 30, 40 people, they come inside and they put the board, orange board, we're not gonna be allowed, we shut you down and we revoke your license. We have the deputy chief, Mr. Lacey. Back in day, I have my security guy, he's also with me. We have little argument with 2 persons. We put them out, they're off the street. They're not even inside the establishment. We have Mr. Lacey came inside. I am the person, that's the way he have talked with front of people. I'm the person who on the top of the mayor, and I'm the person who can snatch your license. He don't have no rights to take the license, anyone. I work hard for my money. And basically I heard from the street, the people talking, they want to take my license away because somebody have a new bar. New liquor store is coming in the area without the permission of the board of trustee or everyone. So guys, I'm literally going through this business and I'm doing in 11-year business in Dalton. So how we can prove that somebody who want to do the business for Dalton, who can come with a good community? I just need to be proper justice. Every time I go in a village, mayor is not there. I call in administrative department, oh, we don't have no idea what you're talking about. I never get the right response from the people. Is that everybody feeling the same way when you have a problem and you go in a village? Yeah. So I hope we can do something and put the right people vote so we can have a next new mayor. That's all I can talk.
Thank you very much, son.
Good evening, everyone. Sherry Britton, 25-year resident. We have a long road because the elections are 2025. They start February 2025. So my question is, what do we do for an entire year? Well, then the new mayor wouldn't take office until May of 2025. What do we do and how do we survive in a town where the police are not necessarily for us? How do we get through board meetings and her and the administration not doing what needs to be done or keeping things from you. So we're in a $7 million deficit now. Will we be in a $14 million deficit by February of 2025? What can we do as residents, business owners, to maybe reach out to the powers that be? I know what you guys are doing with the investigation and that, but what can we do? Who can we talk to? Because there is no way we can survive her and this administration. Keith Freeman is the author of All the Chaos. I have a petition out, change.org, remove Keith Freeman. I put it together January 19th of this year. Sign that. I mean, you know, we need to push. He has to go. So my question to you, Mayor Pro Tem, board, attorneys, what can residents do and who do we need to reach out to? And maybe if you guys can put that on your website so we can keep moving forward, because we've been working for 2.5 years. I mean, this is new. Everybody here, this is new, but we've been doing this since May of 2021 because we knew that she was not going to do the right thing. So I'm asking everyone, if you haven't signed a petition, you don't have to live in Dalton, just sign it. And we have to be more vocal. We cannot continue to not say anything or be afraid of her, because that is why she's doing this stuff, because people aren't saying anything. I mean, thank God for the YouTube community. Thank God that our local news and even national news now, they're starting to pick things up. But this is hard, and it's embarrassing. I mean, she doesn't represent me. She does not. I know how to speak. So, can someone answer?
Okay. What we can do, a couple of things. We've been advising and requesting everybody to write in letters to the state's attorney, attorney general, and thanks to the help of wonderful residents and the resident group that is recently formed, there's even a template letter that's been devised that can be sent out as one. We talk about security. We look out for each other. We really look out for each other. We band together, and you have to be cautious every day going out in the streets, and we want to make sure we continue to stay together. Part 3 of that, we've survived for 2.5 years. Hasn't been pretty, but the board is committed that we will survive. As board, we will continue to hold meetings like this, tea with the trustees, and we'll push forward. Dalton will be a thriving community, I promise.
Well, thank the board. I want to thank the board again for your compassion and your continued efforts to keep us together and get us where we need to be.
Thank you. Okay.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening, Mayor Pro Tem, board, attorneys, and my residents. I'm Valerie Stubbs, former trustee for the Village of Dalton, and I'm so glad to see everybody out here. And I have to say, a lot of the residents that do this every day, our phone rings constantly, we're tired. But we're not giving up because we refuse to let Tahoe Tiffany take our community. I want to commend the board for tonight for putting that resolution together and the attorneys. And I do have a question, Mayor Pro Tem. When she come back and veto that resolution, then what do we do? We override it at the next one. So, and that's what I wanted the residents to know. At the next board meeting, she'll probably veto that resolution and say that this was a secret squirrel meeting that she was also invited to. And then the board have to come back and override her veto. So that's unfortunate. And for the business owners are catching hell out here. You have Dr. Scott. She's constantly losing money. She has tax dollars to pay, along with the residents. Residents, this is about us, because without the businesses' help taking over some of the burden for the taxes, that burden is gonna fall on us. So we all need to band together, come to one of her board meetings, you know, demand that she turn off the video, we don't wanna see it, and tell us what about our tax dollars. And I wanted to ask, how much revenue did the ice rink bring in and the tiny houses? How much did that Greenwood Falls, how much money did she spend for Greenwood Falls? Please tell me.
$1.3 million.
And that's unfortunate, you know, and it looks pretty, but it's not residents' sound, it wasn't a sound business decision. We could have fixed our infrastructure with that. You just had a water tower to fall down not so long ago, and you know, we had water main breaks everywhere. You don't put the horse before the cart. You take care of your business first, and then if you have a few dollars to do a party with, because that's all she's doing, and intermingling the funds with Thornton Township. I thank you all. Have a great evening.
Greetings, trustees, clerk, residents, and media. I am almost 75 years old. I need to have my butt sitting at home somewhere, but this administration will not allow that. I cannot sit by and watch them ride over our citizens like the way they have for the last couple of years or so. Now, yes, Tiffany Henyard needs to be investigated, but let's not forget, as the attorney alluded to, she has accomplices, okay? Let's not get blinded to the fact that she couldn't have done these things by herself. I'd also like to point out how she has weaponized the police, as has been alluded to by others. She has weaponized the police against individuals. She has had the temerity to call individuals' names out to target to her supporters, I guess, because this happened to me at the last Monday meeting. I was unable to find out what it was she said because I was waved off by certain people I won't mention. But anyhow, getting back to the point at hand, this has to stop. She cannot continue to intimidate and gangster her way through this. I can give you some examples of some of the things that she's done that no sane person would do. Who the hell throws a hip-hop concert in a senior citizen's home? Who does that? I mean, right there on 154th and Dorchester, she threw a hip-hop concert. They were selling liquor and everything, and children right there listening to these foul hip-hop lyrics. She has done things like that. She has put blue lights on some of the unauthorized cars, and they masqueraded as police or other law enforcement going through the city, and she was not targeted, but identified as her group going through using those lights to get through traffic. This is yet to be addressed. That is a federal offense. She hung Homewood security badges on code enforcement people and other unauthorized law enforcement in the city hall and used them to intimidate us early on in her administration. Where is the punishment for those things? You understand what I'm saying? There's a whole litany of things I could go through, but I'm going to play devil's advocate for a minute. If I were Tiffany Henyard, and if I was as innocent and as put upon and misused by the residents and the trustees who, by the way, she's insulted each and every last one of them, both personally and professionally, and including the clerk. She has shamelessly insulted them, and last meeting, she sicked her department heads on them. It was one of the most disgusting displays of misgovernment type things that I've ever seen. You don't do that. You do not put people out on Front Street like that. There are several people in here that she has called by name from the podium. Several of us have been escorted from the building, our building, by the way, for doing nothing but applauding. She points a finger or she nods I was escorted out by the deputy chief. I was honored. But making a long story short, I'm talking too long. So I got plenty to say. It will be said later. Have a good day.
And usually I can say I can do it under 3 minutes. Good evening, everybody. I could say I don't know where to start, but I was one of those individuals that she did send the police. I've been here 38 plus years, advocating community rights activists 40 plus years before I got here. I started doing what I was doing at 18 years old, period. I came from a family of servitude. And for her, I had never seen no mayor utilize the police department the way Mayor Tiffany Henyard inserted herself into this police department in all the years that I have been here. I had to watch people go through things that I wouldn't have ever imagined no human being would go through living in the community. And for her to actually think that it was absolutely okay to do all these things that she's doing, I start with the highest breach of public trust I have ever witnessed. That word witness, it carries a lot of weight because she made me a witness and it's nothing she can do about it. Absolutely nothing she can do about it. And to infringe on civility throughout a whole community, disregard your legislative body, and do the things that she has done throughout this community, it's no time to be quiet. There shouldn't be a quiet mouth in the house. I start with COLs because I need residents, I need you all to know, beyond what your board just did here, you can serve the mayor and any other department head, any other dignitary, any other elected official right here in your community, and then you send it to the FBI. Because from this day forth, nobody, I heard a gentleman ask this brother on the interview if he was scared. And I'm calling him a brother. Because you hear what I'm saying? Right about now, this unity for everybody. Right now, I couldn't see a different skin color if I went blind and asked for my eyesight back. Because we are all human beings. There's one thing that eradicates not a one of us from being a human being. And no one human being should ever try to eradicate a whole entire community. And the scariest part, over the township, that's 190,000 humans that are indirectly affected by this. And like the young lady said, this will reverberate for the next 10 to 15 years if everybody doesn't keep taking a stand. Now, a man that want to be on the island by themselves, they usually use the oar, because right about now, the Lord done tapped her out on whatever she got coming. But to each and every one of you all, I had some hard days, and I'm quite sure some of you all picked up on it. But what I've been doing is just like what you all been doing. You don't worry about the 9th hour, because sometimes you pull it off in the 9th hour.
Okay, y'all gotta excuse me. Number one, this is a long walk, and it does suck for people with disabilities that I had to walk all the way over here because we should be able to use the Village Hall because that was a long walk for me, and I have a walker, so Tiffany Henyard, that really sucks. I just like to start off. It's gonna take me a couple minutes because I'm very passionate. And I haven't been out the side of the house in a long time, but I had to come to this meeting today because this meeting really meant a lot to me. I am about a 34-year resident of Dalton. I moved to Dalton about 1989, and when I moved to Dalton, I was one of the first colored family on the block. I actually live across the street from Tiffany Henyard's old house. So when I moved there, I was the first colored family on that block. So when she say that she grew here, no, I grew here because I was in the neighborhood way before she was. And I'm very passionate about my city because I grew up in this city. And what she's doing to this city, it pisses me off. I'm just gonna be very honest. It pisses me off because I still live in this community. And what she's doing in this community from when I grew up here to now, and what I see what she's done to our community, it angers me. It angers me and it upsets me because I helped her with this campaign. Jason came to me, he asked me, he said, Vivian, he said, I know that you have HR experience. He knows that. I have a master's degree in human resource. I've been in human resource for over 12 years. I had an issue, illness. I'm not in human resource right now because of my disability. Unfortunately, I had brain surgery. I have cancer, unfortunately. So her charity pisses me off. Another thing about Tiffany, she had that cancer foundation. I'm a cancer patient. I had to start radiation March the 5th. Could have helped me, but no. Did she start it? What'd she do? She stole the money, right? Something that could have benefited me, a resident, right? But no. Did I get benefits from it? No. I'm a resident. I have to walk to this building, right? Do I get my taxpayers' money? No. So what Tiffany's doing is wrong. I helped her with the campaign. I helped her win. I helped her make phone calls. I did a lot for Tiffany with this campaign. I was supposed to be the HR director. So let's take it all the way back. When Tiffany asked me to help her with her campaign, I gave Tiffany a PowerPoint presentation. Look it up. Ask the FBI to check her email. Ask Dorothy Brown, did she interview me? Because I helped her. I helped her because she had a vision for Dalton, and a vision that Tiffany had. She didn't fulfill it. When people say, why did we vote for her? We voted for her because she said she wanted change. And the change that Tiffany said that she was going to bring, she didn't bring it. So when people say that, oh, well, y'all just stupid, y'all just fighting for whatever, y'all voted for her. No, we voted for what Tiffany was before she came into office. We voted for the trustee that she was. We voted for what the vision that she had. We didn't vote for the Tiffany that we have now. We voted for a different Tiffany. So when y'all stand there and y'all say, oh, well, y'all get what y'all get, that's not what we voted for. That's not what we wanted. We've been fighting for this for 2 years since she's been in office because we knew right away that what Tiffany was doing was not right. So when us as residents, we've been here for the long haul because we saw it right away. And it's not fair to us that everybody else is not fighting with us because y'all been seeing it from the beginning. Y'all just didn't want to say nothing and stand up to it because y'all feel like if one politician is stealing, another politician should be able to steal, and that's not fair. And that's not right. And us as residents, we see it. And we shouldn't be able to just stand up and take it because everybody else is stealing. Just because everybody else is stealing does not give her the right to take from us. And it's not fair. And until we get right, until she gets able to be held accountable, and until she hand over them finances, we shouldn't be able to take it. And she shouldn't be able to just cancel meetings whenever she wants to. We shouldn't have to hold a meeting here. We should be able to hold a meeting wherever we want to. I'm on bed rest. I shouldn't even have to come out here and stand up for what is right in our town. I should be able to be at home. I start my radiation March the 5th. I should be at home. But I'm coming out here to fight for what's right for our residents because we deserve better. Thank you.
Rah, 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 rah. Thank you. Sure.
I'm on? You can hear? Okay. I want to give acknowledgement for the personal challenges that Vivian's gone through. In the less than last 2 years, 3 brain tumors, and all of the different services. So when we talk about, a lot of people will ask, how do we as a board do it? Vivian, you are an inspiration to me to have that kind of strength and that kind of fight. I know this is citizens' address, but I mean, if you can see that strength and that power in somebody with those challenges, just wanted to acknowledge and say thank you and support her nonprofit. Thank you.
I was going to say, rah, 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 I am so happy. I'm one of those people that was actually going around saying, well, what are we going to do? You got to do this. You got to do that. I don't know. Oh, okay. I was one of those people that was going around telling myself and other people, well, what are we going to do? It doesn't appear like anything is really happening with our trustees. It appears that she's just walking all over them. And I am proud of you because you handled it like a crew that really knew how to respect yourself and the residents. And I thank you because when we did have little meetings and we did actually talk, you did listen to us, and that's the most important thing of all. You may not have replied to us, but yet still we did see something, and at time to time we knew things were actually happening, and I'm thankful for that. During this week and last week, I was working with Harvey on some projects that they have going on. And one of the projects that they really have going on is with the Metro, and they have a retention pond going on. You know, I believe in networking. I know we have our situations, but we could not, as residents, do it all by ourselves. We did have to have someone to actually step in and talk. And we did need lawyers, and we didn't have that kind of money as a resource to actually get a real lawyer like we wanted to really have, so we can do that rah-rah and jump it up and down. But what I'm saying right now is I want us to listen to Ryan. Ryan is from Harvey, and I think, as I said earlier, we need to learn how to network. We need to learn what's going on in other areas because we can be supportive of them too. So this is Ryan. Ryan is from Harvey. I would like to introduce him to you in that manner of telling you about some of the things that's happening there. And it's kind of like changing the subject a little bit, but sometimes it helps, okay? Okay, Ryan.
Yeah, my name is Ryan. I'm the head of the Harvey Historical Society, and I was so honored to meet these Dalton ladies. I came to the Saturday meeting. I think it was Tea with the Trustees. So I would say, I don't know, I've been floored and talking to the Harvey residents. Some of you may know we have a mayor who does actually a lot of worse things than Tiffany. He just is very quiet. So unfortunately, we're very jealous because we're like, wow, you guys have done such a great job at getting media attention and, finally getting people to intervene to stop the corruption. So we're hoping, to get some of that same momentum to carry over to Harvey and some of these other towns. But I have to tell you, it really is a regional thing. I would like to see us, and I know these Dalton ladies are passionate about it too. I see Mary right there. It's a region. We have to come together as a region. These ladies invited me to the Lansing Village meeting the other night. We went there. They had a great, uneventful meeting. But I mean, the problem is we've been seeing this for years. I mean, my family roots in Harvey go back to Wasso's. That's my great uncle who had the grocery store. And people say, oh, well, we can't help it as a region. We lost the jobs, we lost the factories, that's why. And people came from the city, from the projects. They didn't know how to live in the suburbs. We have all these excuses as to why the Southland is not successful. I don't buy them. I think that we can be, and we are, successful, diverse, happy region. Honestly, I see our number one enemy as corruption. I really do, especially being from Harvey. I get all the flack, right? Why do you live there? You could live anywhere. Yeah, you were from that area, but you're crazy. Why did you go back there? I love Harvey, and I love the Southland. People like Tiffany and our mayor, Chris Clark, and so many others, they profit off of, it wasn't me, someone called these folks poverty pimps. These politicians, they make, it's not my term, sorry, I'm just passing it on, but they're making money off of keeping the Southland poor and a mess. I mean, just drive through Harvey. Our streets are horrible. Is it because there's something wrong with Harvey? No. If we had a halfway decent government, I mean, Harvey's in such a great real estate position alone. I mean, that alone would ensure that it does well. So I just like us to see all of us come together. Naomi did mention one of the things that we have the $70 million project that you probably have never heard of. How many of you know about the big Pace Bus Depot? We have the regional transit hub for the whole Southland. It is at 154th and Park. Okay, so we have the Metro station and we have the Pace Bus Depot. Our mayor has done his job as Mr. Dictator. He's a quieter one than Tiffany, but still, he likes to control information, so that's probably why you didn't know about it. So that is a huge project. Metro's supposed to totally redo that station and has not taken any feedback at all. So it's just one of the many issues that we would love to have, you guys come out to our meetings. We're going to come to your meetings and support you however we can. But I'm just so inspired by all of you in Dalton. So thank you. Keep up the good work, and bravo.
Good evening. I'm Reverend Sierra Bakes Chamberlain. I'm a reverend, but I stay within my 3 minutes. So first, I want to empathize with everyone in this room because I know I've been following the news and following it. My hearts and my prayers goes out to our community. While I am born and raised Chicago, I've lived the last 8 years in Dalton, and I am also a homeowner in Dalton. I'm also raising 5 kids. I have one off to college that graduated from Thorn Ridge, but I'm raising 5 other kids in Dalton as well. My husband is in the audience. And my concern is, while I'm equally concerned around the corruption that's impacting our community, I'm equally concerned about the violence in our community. This is a distraction. When, I don't know how many of you all have Ring, but I have Ring. And every day I'm seeing gunshots. Did you hear the gunshots? My children, I have a 6-year-old. No, he's 8 now. Got an 8-year-old. And he knows what gunshots sound like. And that's not normal for our children, and it's not normal for our communities. Not only is it the violence issue, we have a reentry issue. Do we have resources for those who are returning home from prison? So, and I also just want to please ask that when we talk about formerly incarcerated people, we want them to have jobs, because all formerly incarcerated people, they can work in government, and they can work in and they should have opportunities to work and reside and thrive in Dalton as well. So my question, and you may not be able to answer it tonight, but I encourage you to, matter of fact, I want to hear back, because I'll be reaching out to all of you. I want to know, what is Dalton's plan while we address this, but what is the plan to also address the violence in the community, the plan to address reentry in the community, and the plan to address the other issues of people being unhoused and just dealing with the issues that low income Black communities are dealing with. Thank you.
That's how we got muted earlier this year, you know that.
They stay muting me.
Okay.
I don't know. Maybe you can hear me. It's red. Can you hear me? Okay. Thank you for coming, and I definitely understand what you're saying. I'm gonna say this, and I probably don't never give this lady credit, but I'm sure that you know that your current mayor has made the Village of Dalton a second chance city that you may not know about. I don't think anybody up here sits on the board to say that we're not about giving people second chances. It's a time and a place for everything, though. The Village of Dalton does have jobs. There are people that have businesses that could probably provide jobs to businesses that's being closed down. So everything that happens, it may seem like a distraction, but it's always another moving part that happens to some things. So there are people that I would say that may be second chance programs, but those people should work in public works or out the scenes. You can't, this was one of our issues, and I hate to bring it up, but a convicted sex offender was hired. That type of media attention, you can't have people going into someone's home under those backgrounds. So when you say that, and I welcome any of your emails, I think there are a lot of possibilities in Dalton. It's just about how they're being implemented. The guy, Mr. Ware, came on to one of our Tea with the Trustees. They have a program on 142nd. So Dalton does have things. It's just about knowing about some of the things. With the violence, I'm gonna say it like I said last month, I'm gonna say it again. We need more police. We put police in the budget and they walk around or go to Vegas or go to Washington or wherever they're going, but they're not supporting